We play foosball. We ready?
Whenever you are.
All right. Welcome back to Prep Rally, the hot, sizzling summer edition. This is our weekly show dedicated to prep sports in Northwest Arkansas. I'm your host, Chip Souza, sports editor of the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Each week this summer, we will take a look at Northwest Arkansas prep football as they wrap up their spring seasons a couple of weeks ago, and then they will begin their focus on the 2017 regular season, which will be coming up here in not too long of a time. Today, we will take a look at the Bentonville West Wolverines. So last season, the Wolverines played their first ever varsity football game. No problem. They had no seniors on their team. Again, no problem. Then, late in the season, with the potential of not only getting in the playoffs, but to host a playoff game, Bentonville West had to earn a big win late in the season, and again, no problem. So West finished the season just 3-8, but 3 of those wins came in 7A West Conference play, where it counts the most, and that earned them the number 4 playoff seed in the conference. So they not only got in to the playoffs, but they hosted a playoff game. So that was absolutely huge for a first-year program. West did lose that playoff game to Cabot, but boy, what experience they got. Again, no seniors on the team last year, so they are loaded. Basically, all their players are back this season. The quarterback, Will Jarrett, he was a sophomore last year, passed for about 2,000 yards. Junior receiver Jaden Jackson, who is getting a lot of recruiting interest and has been offered by Arkansas, he caught about half of those passes. He had about 1,000 yards receiving last year, scored 10 touchdowns. Again, Arkansas and a number of colleges have talked to him. Arkansas has offered him. He not only is a football star, he is also a track star, so he is drawing a lot of interest. West has everybody back, but they also picked up a couple of big move-ins this offseason. Hunter and Tucker Swoboda, both from Pulaski Robinson. Hunter is a 6'4", 225-pound senior linebacker, had about 135 tackles last year at Robinson, and Tucker will probably see time in the secondary for West this year. So 2 big move-ins for Coach Brian Pratt's Wolverines. Now, Hunter will have to overcome, he was injured in a football team camp this summer, broke both the tibia and fibula. Make sure I got that right. My anatomy, took that anatomy class, so make sure I got that right. Tibia and fibula, he broke both in one leg, had to have surgery, had to have a rod put in that leg and a steel plate, but coaches seem to think that he will be back for the season opener. If that happened to me, I wouldn't play football again for probably the next 5 years, but then I'm old and my bones take a long time to heal, so there you go. So they think he'll be back in time for the season opener against Pryor. The news on leading tackler Sebastian Caniglia, not as good. He led the Wolverines in tackles last year, but he suffered a torn ACL in a team camp in Tulsa, and it looks like he may be lost for the season. So 2 newcomers coming in as move-ins, but maybe a big loss there for the at linebacker for West with losing their linebacker there. So anyway, Henry Apple, he covers Bentonville West for the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. He sat down and visited with Coach Pratt to preview the upcoming season.
Workouts.
Well, I think as me and the staff met about things that we need to improve on. One thing that we felt like after watching video and obviously not having any seniors and a lot of kids that had their first year of experience, one of the things that we felt like we needed to improve on was our physicality and how we're able to run the football and stop the run. So we try to really put an emphasis on that, to more with the attitude that we're going to run the football and try to be effective running the football when people drop as many as they do to try to take care of a passing game.
So with that in mind, how did you go about addressing that situation?
I think the one thing that we did different this year, last year we had about 70 players on our team, so we couldn't really platoon, as you could say, playing offense only or defense only, and then you have some kids that may cross over from one side to the other. But this year, with 110, 115 players, we were able to split it up and have an offense and a defense and be able to practice the entire spring. Well, what that did was really created a competition when we went good on good, because it was an offense versus a defense and not guys that were on the scout team or things like that. So our competition part of spring ball was really, really good. The best I've ever been a part of in my 21 years of coaching. I think that addressed some of our problems with being physical, because it was so much competitiveness, and physical play. Guys that we thought would be effective for us. I think defensively, Levi Rutherford, who's a basketball player, and I'm he probably doesn't want me to tell this, but he's never had a helmet on in his life, and he's coming out to play linebacker. And we watched him play basketball and saw how he ran around, he was physical, and he played with a lot of effort. And we knew that if he did that on the football field, he could be successful. And really smart kid, a kid that's very, very coachable and works really hard to do what he's supposed to do. He had a really good spring. Really athletic kid, but he's also big. He's probably 6'2" and weighs about 215, 220, and he's a 4'9", 40 guy. So he's got all the physical attributes it takes to be a successful football player. Now we just got him to understand the game a little bit, and he did a really good job during the spring. I think offensively we had a couple of them. I think that we have a center that had never played football before, that moved in, named Sean Gardner. Really smart kid that works really hard, a little undersized, but he really does a good job and wants to do well. He had a really good spring as well. And then Kalai Sewell, who's a kid that we got out of a PE class that we saw playing basketball one day, and we played him at running back, and he scored a touchdown in the spring game. And still a little raw at the position, but he's definitely picking up some things and giving great effort, and that's what it takes in our style of play in order to be.
Thank you, Henry, and thank you, Coach Pratt, for taking the time to talk to us about the Wolverines. We're excited about what's going to be in store for them this season. So remember, this week and then throughout the summer, we will continue to preview prep football. Now, next week, we'll kind of take a little bit of a detour when we'll recap the Arkansas High School Coaches Association All-Star Games. They were held this week in Conway, basketball All-Star Games, football All-Star Games. So we'll recap that, and then the week after that, we'll shift our focus back to football, and we will take a look at the Siloam Springs Panthers. For all of us at the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Prep Rally.